Hey guys, GamerC here, and welcome back to a new video. Today we're playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Or should I say the Stanley Parable 2. I know which endings we're going to get today. In the last episode we got the same endings as episode 3.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
And in this episode we're going to get
All of his
same
co-workers
endings
were
as
gone.
episode 4 and
What could it
5.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley
Let's go,
clutched the
Bucket.
bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
That sound is creepy. I wish that it sort of plays.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom
Because
closet.
I like
It
it
wants
more.
the bucket. You can feel that, can't you?
Dialogue.
The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
Why are you jealous,
I
broom
can really
closet?
feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
Don't worry,
I know
won't.
how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Yep.
You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into
I won't.
name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
This dialogue
Stanley,
is funny, but not
I
as
never
funny
liked
as
this
the
broom
original.
closet for a variety of reasons.
Yep,
But
because
even
I
this is worse
stood
than
in
I
it
had
for like
imagined.
30 minutes the last
And
time I
wait.
was here.
Now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends, that your relationship is purely superficial and convenient, that your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner. Well, I never.
This is
Go
one of
on,
the funniest
Stanley.
bucket endings.
Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning
opinion.
comments. Expand on the
I don't
wide
know what the funniest
variety of
one
experiences you and the bucket
with
have
the
shared
bucket
together.
has
Go
to
through
be
each of them point by
Game
point.
show ending.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved
I like
over
the
the
bucket.
years. Let him have it. Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with
Yeah,
all your
broom
meandering
closet.
philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Very funny.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest,
Yeah.
I'm sick of the pettiness on display.
Me too.
You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in.
Yep.
I'll see you outside, and we can get
get
on with the story about
together
you
about-
and your bucket.
About me and the bucket. Let's go.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I like that ending, but it doesn't beat the original.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of
guys,
facing his
this
boss,
contains
admitting he had
themes of
left his
mental
post
illness,
during work hours.
insanity.
He might be
If you
fired
don't
for
like
that.
that,
And in such a
you might wanna
competitive
skip this
economy,
video.
why had he taken that risk? All because he
Because the
believed
ending's about
everyone
that.
had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
Yeah,
and
Bucket.
then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Maybe.
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
Yep, the bucket's a male.
And
As
that's
we found
strange,
out in the
Stanley
last
thought.
episode.
Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket.
Sending us
It's just a
villains.
normal, everyday
Oh,
bucket.
no.
Someone else's
My
bucket,
bucket.
perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
Yep, this
Surely
is.
no
This is
good would
another
come from this.
nightmare.
Who knows
No.
what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding
No,
presence of his
I need
bucket.
the bucket.
And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were
Yeah.
repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Oh no.
Gracious, he
This is
exclaimed.
really
Without my bucket, I've
bad.
gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley!
Yeah, I need to find you,
it's
Bucket.
me,
I will
the
find you, don't
bucket."
worry.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room,
Oh, no,
passing
look at
by
all these
one bucket
buckets.
after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley.
Oh no, there's an
Find
alarm in
me.
the background.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way
no,
to
I need
truly
to
restore
find
his
it. I need
sanity.
to
And
find
then
it.
suddenly,
I need to
he
find
froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the
Find
voice of
it.
the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Well, that was dark. That was once again dark.
This is
Just
a
like the
story
original.
of a woman named Mariella.
Yep.
Mariella woke up on a day like
Not as
any
dark
other.
as the original, but still
She
pretty
rose,
dark.
got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Looks like she.
Right away,
It
she
honestly
knew
looks
what
like
the
they
problem
just
was.
photoshopped the bucket over
This
her
man
arms.
had no bucket. Of course,
still, it kinda
he'd gone
works.
mad, ranting and raving about a narrator
Yep.
describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion
Yep.
and it's all just a video game. It could all have
Yep.
been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket.
If only
with
he
him.
took his bucket.
Perhaps he
would've
didn't
been
even
fine.
realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought.
Yep.
And she hugged her own bucket even tighter.
Yeah,
But
do
of
not
course,
let go
she
of
had
that
no
thing.
time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work. for
Now,
which
by
her
the way,
bucket
there are a
would
lot of
provide
darker
absolute
endings
guidance and total clarity
still
on
coming.
everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
And she backflipped all the way to work. Very funny.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
He already is both those things.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
We're getting the endings on the left first. That sound is creepy, but it kind of works.
Coming to a staircase,
It truly
Stanley and
puts
the
a
bucket walked
element of
upstairs to the
of
boss's
suspense
office.
in there. It throws an element of suspense.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yep. This time I'll be doing the museum ending. And the next one I'll do the countdown.
The elevator raced downward. plummeting towards an unknown fate.
Yep.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together,
We're
if
gonna go
not
to a
for the
museum
bucket.
together, Bucket.
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
If it will be.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on
Bucket
track.
wants me to move forward, though.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
AKA a trip to a museum. Disguised as death. Here we go again. What is going on? Here we go again.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
Yeah.
To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death?
Yeah, what good would that be?
This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
This is one of the
Farewell,
few endings
Stanley.
that's the direct opposite of the original. The freedom ending, the press conference
Farewell,
ending,
Stanley, cried the narrator,
and this ending.
as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Yeah, it sure is a shame.
In a single visceral instant,
Except
the
it's
bucket's
actually
life came to an end, as it was
trip to a
crushed
museum.
violently to death.
Yeah, mine as well.
It was
Where'd
a
my bucket
shame,
go?
the death of such a magnificent bucket.
Wait, am I
It's
experiencing
true
the
that all
insanity ending
buckets are
again?
radiant in their own way,
Yeah,
but this one stood above the rest.
it did.
It was a glorious bucket to behold.
It sure is a glorious bucket. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing in the precise of knowledge, much like the bucket itself. The human mind is frequently empty within a carnivorous void, but through use the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and sustained. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. I never thought I'd go to a bucket museum before. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept an open mind? What may be challenging about this information is this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Kinda dark.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this
narrator
and to
was the one who
claim
gave
it
it
for
to
his
him.
own?
Go after
Can you
him,
see the
if anyone.
hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
What did Stanley do? The narrator was the one who gave him the bucket. Very funny. That's also a lot more than 25 buckets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Yep, a lot more than 25. A bucket with 2 handles. Dark yet very funny. Inferno bucket. And it's acting like buckets are like some kind of magical weapon. Man, this museum is The museum has a claustrophobic, linear feel to it, while the one in the original has an open feel to it. Wow, look at all these people. And deer. Animals and humans. Everybody must have a bucket.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
Yeah. But
It is
it's just a
man
bucket.
who should kneel before the bucket.
Ah, the floating bucket. The floating bucket.
But there
misspoke.
is something we can do.
What is
something
that?
we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die.
What did
Let
Stanley
him be
do?
crushed by the machine. Don't reset
You are
the game.
evil, female
Don't give
narrator.
him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful
You are
bucket.
evil.
We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools
Stanley
and
didn't
implements
do
if
anything
only
wrong.
we let Stanley die together. The bucket should
You are
take its
evil,
place as
female
ruler,
narrator. I
as
will go
leader, as
against your
commander
wishes
of
by
a new
restarting the game. And in the video here. There, I saved Stanley and the bucket from the evil female narrator. As well as also the bucket would have died as well. So, kinda no point.